I didn't bring any sanity recovery, did I? Which means that if there's a brain somewhere around here, I can't remember where it was. It's here, isn't it? No, it's here. Wait, where's the brain? Oh, it's there. Isn't there another brain somewhere, or is it like all the way over here? Oh, yeah, it's all the way over here. Okay. Maybe I'll just go eat that brain then. Honey nuggets restore 20 HP, I believe, which is a lot more than most crockpot recipes, meat crockpot recipes. There are some special ones, of course, that recover more health than other stats, but primarily the meat recipes are hunger-based recipes. Let's put on the pirate hat for exploring. This is a 3-notch run. I mean, 3-notch strike, volcano strike. So this one will end in 2 notches from now. It's kind of annoying. I still find it kind of annoying how slow the ship is. It's definitely a really powerful ship because of the cannon, primarily. And because you get it so early. But, yeah, speed is an issue. Oh, it's another dead stinkray. So I mentioned that during the volcano strike you can kill the coral reef if you need to. I think I mentioned before that the mangroves are also one of the ideal places for you to be because they give you shade and because the mangroves will be destroyed by the volcano strikes and then they'll yield resources that you can use. So it's really efficient to just stay out in these areas. If you have ice, you can stay in the open in an area like this. If you don't have ice, you can use the mangroves, both of which will yield items, but just keep in mind that it permanently destroys the coral reef, so you don't want to use this too often. Maybe during like the first summer, and if you really need coral for some reason, even though it goes like monsoon season into summer. I mean, hurricane season into monsoon season into summer, which it passes. It already passes by the coral reef season, the season where you actually need coral. But the point is, like, if you do need it for any reason, it's another option. Always keep your options open. Alright, so I'm just gonna sail all the way over here, and then I don't know if I'll make it back home by nighttime, which means that the Volcano Strike is 16-3, which is exactly, well, not anymore, but it's like 1 day from now. A little less than 1 day from now. Oh, no! No, what? I clicked it! What? No! Oh my god. I was like a quarter second off from clicking that and unequipping it. Damn it. Okay, I'm not gonna kill this. Oh, we can test the whale thing. Maybe somebody else knows about like what caused it to bloat. If this whale is not bloated and I fire something at it, if I fire a cannonball at it and it starts bloating, then there is a possibility that that's how you do it now. But the thing is, it's only a sample size of 2. I hate it when people like see something happen and then they're like, "Oh my god, that's 100% chance." No, it's not how anything works in life. Okay, so this thing is not bloated. I'm gonna fire a cannonball at it, and if it bloats, holy crap. That's 2 out of 2 now. Sample size is still not big enough. Maybe I'll try it out in like a custom game or something, or like a throwaway game. People probably already know about this. When you don't play the game for like 6 months, and there's new things added into the game, obviously other people will find out about things before you. Back when Shipwrecked just came out, it wasn't like that. I played the game like crazy, like 10 to 12 hours a day when it came out. Back when I had more free time. I'm gonna nom on this. I'm just gonna eat it now. Uh, I'm just gonna head back home, I think. I hate summer. I hate summer in ROG too, because it forces you to stay in one place or play a little more risky. And I'm not a risky player. I'm a safe player. So usually I just play safe, obviously. I just go for the safe route. And the safe route is to go back home right now. Um, Restock on ice a little bit, even though I have more than enough. Grab anything else that I need, and then basically that'll be the next volcano strike, which is the last volcano strike. Yeah, it's the last volcano strike of the season. There's probably so many things in this game that I do. Oh, I need this too, boat repair kit. There's probably so many new things in this game, like new tricks and stuff that I don't know about. So, when I do work on the tutorial series and I start incorporating Shipwrecked into it, most of the things that I talk about in the tutorial series are fundamentals. So they help you with like the most basic stuff in the game, but the most basic stuff in the game will help you forever. That's what I try and focus on. But there are still some little tricks that I like to talk about too. And sometimes it requires you to play more frequently to learn those tricks. So as I was saying, when I do the Wigford run, I think I'll learn anything that I've missed, even though I don't think there's much to learn left. I could just check patch notes, of course. Patch notes will tell me. Not all the time, though. This is actually a funny story. It's not really funny. There's a story. In early access back in December, there were a ton of bugs in the game, obviously, because it was early access, and there were certain things that Clay patched, but they didn't put it on the patch notes. It wasn't just like bug fixes, it was like gameplay changes. So they changed gameplay, and then they didn't put it on the patch notes. And it was super confusing, but the thing is I played League for like 6 years, 7 years almost. And Riot is kind of known, not really, but sometimes they have these undocumented changes where they like forget to put it on the patch notes or something, or like slips through. Something they were testing on their own servers, like the test servers or their internal servers. They would like let it slip by accidentally, and then it would make it on live. But obviously, because it's undocumented, you don't know until you actually run into that change, whatever the change was. So basically, Clay was doing that a little bit during early access. So there were some very, very confusing moments where like something just randomly changed. And I think I was thinking like, what just happened? Am I crazy? Was it always like this? I started thinking about that. That wasn't really funny, was it? I mean, it was a little story. Story time's good. Don't hate on stories. Oh! Oh, 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 oh. Oh. Crap. Am I actually out? Hmm. Okay. No, no! What? Leave me alone. Wait, what? Hold on a second. Why is the season over? Wait a second. There's still 1 day left. Oh. Oh. Hold on a second. Why is the season over? There should be a day left. Shouldn't there be? Huh. Wait a second. Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. I remember that back in the day, the final day was on the first notch, there would be a volcano strike, and then there'd be another volcano strike here. No, was that it? Hold on. It was like warning, warning, strike, warning, 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 strike, 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 and then until here is the when the volcano strike ends and the season ends. But then after a patch, they made it so that you get a volcano strike on the day, right here, and then you get a bunch of warnings. But the warnings don't do anything because mild season begins, and it seems like that's now. Am I just crazy? Like, has it really been that long since I played the game? Hold on a second, I'm gonna open the calculator. So 20 days is the first season. 20 days is the first season. So day 1 to day 20. Then day 21 to day 37. That's 16 days. '21 to 37 is hurricane season. And then 37 plus 20 is 57. And then... This is so confusing. And then it's another 16 days, isn't it? Or is it actually 15 days? Because winter is 16 days. Summer should be... I'm rusty, aren't I? Well, if you've learned anything in this entire run is that I haven't played this game nearly enough compared to before. Alright, well, I guess the run's over. Huh. Let's finish up with gambling then. Oh my god. What the hell do I need these notes for then? I don't know. Maybe there's variants. I'll probably just check it up after this. You don't have to, like, put it in the comments. You don't have to be like, actually, it's like, blah, 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 blah. People always do that shit. It's like, dude, you're talking to a recording. You understand that, right? This is a recording. And by the time you inform me with your brilliance, like 2 months would have passed by. Thanks. It's like, hey, you want to cheat on the test? I got some really sick information for you. Test was 2 months ago. Oh. But people don't realize that because YouTube is a delayed medium. It's a recording. It's a recording! You know that meme, if you're familiar with Twitch, the recorded stream meme? Yeah. Well, YouTube is like that. YouTube is actually like that. It's not a meme. Alright, so, yeah, let's... It's not much, it's only 15. Usually I have like 40 when I'm in like the mid to late game. A couple hundred days in, a couple thousand days in. It's like 40 or more. But 15 is still like a day's worth of gambling. So let's grab some jerky. This is not going to be done yet. I don't have bananas, do I? Oh, whatever. Jerky's enough. I don't remember if I have a seashell suit on the other island, so I'm going to bring that. I need to bring a hammer if I still have one here. If I don't, maybe the other island has one? Okay, whatever, let's go. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. This is a slow ship. I think the Hound Wave should be soon. Within the next 2 or 3 days, the Hound Wave should be coming. We'll take this boat. This boat is faster. Faster by a little bit. It's not that much faster. It's because it's using the snakeskin sail instead of the cloth sail or the, what's it called? The doi sail? Feathered sail? Or the Iron Wind, of course. The Iron Wind is OP. Maybe I'll just talk about... Okay, maybe I'll just talk about the run as I'm doing this. Because, you know, it's more efficient use of time. Efficiency is important. Gotta utilize that efficiency. So the biggest issue for this run that I can identify right off the bat is the poor usage of the middle of the first season. So usually when I give people advice about when to start preparing for the next season, I say you want to have like the edges of the world explored by... This is ROG, by the way. You want to have the edges of the world explored by day like 5 to 10 at most. So you want to rush that really fast. But in Shipwrecked, it's a little bit different because it's slightly delayed. You're kind of trapped on certain islands until you can move forward with a boat. But the boats that you start with on most characters is terrible. Just absolute garbage. Kind of like getting monkeys. Huh. Did they change the monkey sound effect? They didn't sound like that before. What was I saying? So let's say in Shipwrecked, you delay it by at least like 3 or 4 days. So about day 13, 14, 15 or so, that's when you really want to start settling down. And what I did was, instead of settling down, was it this island? Or was it this island? It was one of these islands here. I should have just said, whatever, screw exploring, I'm just going to stop here. Because all of these islands have everything that I need. And if it's not on this island, very high chance that the nearby islands will have it. So let's say I stop on this island. This island's missing rocks. Well, there's rocks here. There's some rocks on this island. There's some rocks here. There's some rocks on the nearby islands. And if I really did need rocks, I would explore when I could, not when I have to prepare for the future. If I need, like, jungle stuff, there's jungle here, there's, like, grass here. Like, you can see the way the map is laid out that usually when you have an island, it's okay to just stop here. Like, the island is fine. Every single island is fine, perfectly fine. You can survive on any island, it just matters, like what really matters in the end is the efficiency of the island in the long term. So if you're planning to survive for longer than 1 year, then like some of these islands will be suboptimal. Like this one is okay. Maybe you don't want to maybe you don't want to stop on this one ever. Just forget about that one. But like some of these islands, this one's shit. They're all pretty garbage. This one's pretty garbage. But you can still live here. The thing about this game is that you don't really need that much to survive. And if the run did teach you anything, which I hope it did, primarily prepare better, is that you can survive while struggling if you know what you're doing. So I was like basically on the verge of death. I did accidentally die once. That was embarrassing because I left my grass. Okay, that's another issue that happened. I left my grass in the chest before I left, and I didn't realize that, so that was a stupid mistake on my part. But mistakes aside, like there's always stuff you can always do better. So like planning your base earlier on would have been really nice. If I did that, like what would happen was I would have had a base, I would have had the chimenea, so I would have had a place to stay at night. Most importantly, I would have had a place to stay at night instead of just sitting there and then what happens after is, well, you saw it. If you watched the earlier episodes of the run, you saw that I would drop a fire, and then the wind would blow the fire out really, really quickly, so I'd have to refuel it, and it would use excessive amounts of fuel. Obviously, that's a big issue, so you don't want that to happen. Ah, damn it. Do I have fuel on me? Oh, crap. just realized, can I burn this? Oh, I can't. I think I always try to do that. I can burn the bamboo. The run's done anyway. I can burn this. Actually, you know, the grass suit, I think the grass suit is a rare item, isn't it? Because the grass suit can't be made in Shipwrecked. It has to be made in ROG. It's an ROG item. So if you get a grass suit, consider yourself lucky. But the grass suit is like complete garbage. So you're not really lucky after all. Yeah, so early preparation, even a little bit of preparation goes a long, long way. If you remember back when I was preparing for summer, it was, ooh, obsidian, cool. Now these are pretty bad jackpots. There are no jackpots, actually. I didn't get any so far. If you remember earlier on in the run... Oh, come on. Well, there goes my sanity. If you remember earlier on in the run when I was surviving or getting ready for summer, I prepared a lot of stuff a long time before summer even came. So I was preemptively preparing, and that's basically what you should be doing. You should leave at least like a week's time in game, like 7 days or so, um, if not longer than that, to preparation. If you do that, you're basically never going to find yourself in a bad spot if you know what you're doing. So if you plan ahead, you know what you're doing in the future. Even if you're not like super comfortable with playing the game, it goes a long way. It's like, I need to do this. I need this item. I need this item. What's what's like the worst situation that I'm in right now? Like how am I dying? Why am I struggling? What do I need the most? What kind of resources do I need? Even like simple thinking like that. Just pause the game like I did. I was showing exactly what you should be doing when you plan ahead. Just pause the game and then do what you have to do. Think ahead and then like see what needs to be done basically. And like even if you don't know exactly what you're doing, at least you're planning ahead. So people say sometimes it's a good idea to have a plan, even if it's a bad plan or something to that effect. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Even if you're like terrible at the game, even if you're new at the game, then you should still plan ahead, if possible. Let's see, what other problems did I have in the early game besides for preparation? I guess I could still talk about the preparation part. So, because I struggled so hard in the second season, or the reason why I struggled so hard in the second season was because of poor preparation. If I prepared better, there wouldn't have been that snowball effect where like I basically screwed myself over for an entire season. Um, and yeah, it wasn't a very fun experience, was it? What else? What else can I say? You might not think that it's a long time, but one day in this game is a very long time. It can be a very long time. Even like one notch, a couple seconds, all of these things do add up. And if they do add up to a point where you start falling behind because of that extra time added up, then you're gonna struggle. Essentially, that's the formula for struggling in this game. That's it for gambling. So we're gonna go back to the main island, and then I'll finish my closing words. Sorry if it's a bit distracting. I know I'm like playing the game and I'm talking, so I'm not talking about the game. So it's kind of like a dissonance in the words and the visuals, the audio and the visual. Even though I do like go into segues when I'm playing normally anyway, just to keep you entertained. But yeah, we'll just exit the game. I'll say some more closing words, just thinking about what I've done. Planning for summer, remember I said that everything starts to wither? Summer preparation is very important because if this stuff withers first, you don't get anything from it, which is really bad. And for the second season, hurricane season preparation, if you don't make lightning rods, which I have like a ton of lightning rods in this entire base. One over here, one over here, one over here, one over here. Is that it? This one I put in later on, right? If I remember correctly, I put this in later on, and this bush area got destroyed because I wasn't ready for it. I was like, oh crap, lightning strike, ta-da, everything's gone. So like primarily that's what you should be looking into for like finalizing your survival for a certain season, like the essentials. Do you need the chiminea? The chiminea, um, it protects you from the wind, the rain, gives you a fire at night. If you have food sources like the monkeys, I showed you how to like control the monkeys on your island. Basically, moving the monkeys, destroying their base, destroying their huts, taking the resources, using them to build more huts in a better location, better for you location, um, and you get so many resources at the same time. It's really efficient. And then the monkeys, you can just kill them slowly, little by little. So that's one of the main reasons. One of the main ways to make a really nice food source, a farmable food source in Shipwrecked. And this is something that people used to ask me a long time ago, back when the game just came out. It's like, how do you deal with monkeys? Well, you just kill them. And they're like, what? You just kill them? But I don't want to kill them. I think having monkeys around is a good idea because um it's like good for my base. They give me renewable resources. But then you need to think and apply the same knowledge that you have from ROG to Shipwrecked. There are some things in ROG that you can farm, right? Um, Pigs, you can farm. Beefalo, technically you can farm eventually once they start breeding. Uh, Bees, bee boxes, or bees in general, moles, everything that you can farm is already there, and the same thing applies from ROG to Shipwrecked, which is if you want to make a farm, you move it to a convenient location near your base because the farm is essentially immovable, and you want to keep immovable resources near your base, which I talk about in my tutorial series multiple times, I think. Like if you watch the tutorial series and you like think about how you can apply ROG information to Shipwrecked, you're gonna find that there's so much that actually carries over. It's not just, wow, this is ROG. I'm just gonna, take this word for word and use this in ROG only. It's not like that. The tutorials talk about fundamentals, game mechanics, things that are constants in the game and will always be in the game. So take what you will, hopefully like as much as you can, and bring it over to Shipwrecked. And eventually, when I talk about more Shipwrecked topics, you're gonna find that I'm gonna repeat information, like when you explore the edges in ROG, you explore the edges of an island or the world like this. In Shipwrecked, the world is more, it's larger. It's like an expansive world with new biomes. So this is not actually the edge of the world because there are more biomes. These are biomes. The ocean biome. This is the land biome, jungle biome. I guess you can categorize like that. Land, jungle, ocean, shallow, ocean, medium, ocean, deep, ocean wreckage. These are biomes, which means that the edge of the world essentially is all of this. But you can't do that, right? Like if you think about it logically, and I tell you, oh yeah, by day 10 you got to explore the entire edge of the world. Well, this is a little bit ridiculous. You can do it, probably, but you would suffer so much because you wouldn't have any food, any shelter, and you'd just get wrecked. So you want to go for the most essential edges, which would be the shallow waters. Shallow waters always lead to an island or a coral reef. Always. If you look at the map right now, you can see it's not fully revealed, obviously. You can see that uh, the patterns exist. It's always island, shallow, medium, deep. Always. If you want to go from the other side around, let's say you're in an area like this, and you move around. Eventually, when you move around enough, you'll find medium water. If you find medium water, there's a very good chance you'll find shallow water into coral reef. Like this multicolored little edge here is the reef. This is the little bit of shallow water. It's kind of weird, but this is like a more average appearance. So shallow water, coral reef, shallow water continues, island, shallow water, island, shallow water, island, shallow water, island, medium water, shallow water, medium water, deep, medium, shallow, island. So these patterns that exist in the world is what you should be looking at. And going back to my problems that I had in the early game, um, that's kind of like making an excuse. I'm kind of making an excuse right now because what happened was I got so enamored with the cannon, the boat cannon. It was so fun having the boat cannon that early, um, and also the hat stuff. So I was searching for treasure. I felt like a pirate. So R right. But don't do that. Like, if you want to play efficiently, if you want to play the game properly, don't get carried away like that. Play the game like you would always play the game, and just stick with the fundamentals. Find an island that's decent. Stop here for now. If you really need to move, if you really want to move, let's say you're aiming for day 1000 as your goal, then this island may not be as optimal as this island. This island's actually really good. It's above average by a lot because there's like mushrooms, there's reeds, um, there's monkeys, there were spiders, jungle, you can renew this stuff, bushes, renewable food. Like it's an above average island that allows you to survive for a couple thousand days if you really wanted to. Like this is good enough. So there are a lot of people out there that are like super picky about their islands. It's like if I don't have a perfect island, I'm not going to stop here. Well, no, you shouldn't think like that. If you're gonna do that, just cheat. If you care so much about finding the perfect island, just cheat. Like, don't even play the game, just cheat. Open up console, reveal the world, and then you can find the console commands on the wiki or whatever. Just reveal the world, and then go to that island directly. But that takes the fun out of the game. It takes away the exploring, the struggle, the survival aspects, the important survival aspects, which is surviving without knowing what's going to come in the future. Not knowing most things, I guess. Like, you know the seasons are coming, you know the hazards that come with each season. That's how you prepare, and that comes with experience. Um, and like that comes with you dying over and over again until you get it right. But you know, if you're gonna cheat and just like find a perfect island and have that kind of stupid mentality, then just don't play the game normally. Just cheat. Every single game that I played has been legit, and some people have accused me of like some games not being legit. I hate to break it to you, but you're stupid. Um, yeah, it's so much more fun to just survive on your own, and that means that you can settle for having an island like this. You can settle having an island like this. And as I've mentioned before, it's not just the island that is the biome. Everything around the island is a biome. So when I was talking about the octopus, if the octopus is near my home base and my home base is like a super cool island, then the value of this entire territory becomes very useful. Just like in ROG, when you have like a really good biome next to a really good biome with a ton of resources and a ton of set pieces, like mushroom set pieces, um, wormholes that lead to separate places, like perfect wormholes leading from one part of the base to the other one, or like one part of the base to across the map where there are resources and back. Like perfection is really hard in a game like this that has RNG aspects, and you just need to settle. And that was the issue that I had early. I just didn't settle. I kept going for the perfect base, but you can't really do that if you have no vision. I guess I'll talk about a lot of the issues that I had were because of snowballing. So you make a mistake, that mistake causes you to slow down, and then when you have to do something next, or when like the hounds attack, or when you have to prepare for a certain season, it slows you down by like a quarter of a day. That adds up to half a day, and then 3/4 of a day, and then one full day. So you're one full day behind. And this is eventually what led up to the Seal NATO. The Seal NATO I just completely avoided, and then I despawned it. And in terms of efficient survival, perhaps that would have been the best case for me, which is why I did it. The reason is because I didn't have proper armor or weapons to deal with it. I wasn't confident in dealing with it. Um, so I didn't want to fight it. But from like a viewer perspective, it's like, oh, that's so boring. You should have killed it. It was more exciting. But the thing is, I really wanted to finish the whole year and not have like a dud of a run because it's a waste of time. So that eventually snowballed into that. But after hurricane season, I eventually recovered. I stabilized from all the early game incidents. Monsoon season is actually pretty calm in the first stages. And you saw, I basically played monsoon season the way that it should have been played, give or take like one day maybe, where I could have prepared a little better, maybe 1 or 2 days. So third season was okay. If I was a little more prepared, if I had a better boat, I think that was one of the main issues, the boat speed as well. I should have made a better boat earlier on with the cloth sail. I think that's probably what I should have done. And if I had a chance to redo it, I would do it. Snakeskin would have worked too. Actually, snakeskin and cloth is not that big of a difference. Um, and I did mention that snakeskin is better in the early game because it lasts for so much longer than a cloth sail, and you don't have the sewing kits or the cloth in the early game to upkeep that cloth sail. So snakeskin is good. It's really good actually. So I probably would have done that instead. Snakeskin, not cloth. But it would have been faster than the sea legs for sure. I think the hat was very distracting. I'll just put it that way. I'll leave it at that. Is there anything else to talk about? I can't think of anything right now. I'm doing this live, so I don't have notes or anything. Um, so if there's anything that I missed, if you've watched the entire run, especially, if there's anything that I missed, maybe I touched upon it a little bit and then I didn't follow up with it because I got distracted and then I forgot or whatever. Or maybe there's something else that requires that you think that I should talk about more. You can leave it in the comments below the video. I don't even know why I have the map open still. You can leave it in the comments in the below the video. You can ask questions there if you want. And the final thing I'm going to end off with is my opinion of this character, Woodlegs. I probably should have said this first instead of rambling on, but I had a lot on my mind about like all the issues in the early game, and even now I don't think I talked about it enough. But I've talked about it enough, as in I've bored you long enough. So Woodlegs as a character, I think he's average of a character. So he's in the I would say he's like a Wilson's not average, by the way. Wilson's not an average character. He's above average. Even though people say he's average because of his stats, he's an above average character because he has no negatives really, except for like overheating a little faster if he has a beard. Average character, average character, average character. Maybe like Wickerbottom level. He has the same or very similar sanity issues to Wickerbottom. Wickerbottom's sanity issues are a little different though. It's the fact that she has too much sanity. I don't remember if I've talked about this. She has way too much sanity, and when you reach that point where your sanity is really low, and you always will, it's like impossible to upkeep your sanity in the early game properly if you go for risky plays like flickering overnight, um, and like you utilizing your nighttime efficiently in the early game, which results in you losing a ton of sanity. And unlike Weber, people say Weber is annoying because he has low sanity, he has 100 sanity. He goes insane at 15 sanity. What that means is, even though it only takes him 85 sanity to go insane, it also means that he recovers sanity faster because sanity recovery items are flat amounts. If you have 0 sanity and you heal yourself for 20 sanity as Weber, you recover 20% of your sanity, which puts you above the insanity thresholds of the threshold, and shadow creatures no longer attack you. But for Wickerbottom, she has 250 max sanity, which means that if you recover 20 sanity, that's not even 10% of her max sanity. Um, and she requires 37.5%, I believe. 37 point, no, not percent, 37.5 flat sanity to break out of insanity. That means that you need 3 green mushrooms, essentially, 2.5 green mushrooms to break Wicker Bottom out of insanity. You also need more than one Terrorbeak. One Terrorbeak heals you for 33 sanity, but because you need 37.5 to break Wicker Bottom out of insanity from 0 sanity, then that means that she won't break out of insanity with one shadow creature. But as you saw from this run, and with Weber, especially with Weber, because Weber only has 100 sanity, he like super breaks out of insanity. He doubles the insanity threshold. 33 sanity is, uh, what is it, 18 more than his insanity threshold? So, flat sanity recovery is very, very strong on low max sanity characters, and it makes Wicker Bottom suffer from kind of a weakness, which requires you to have like a Tam O'Shanter. I hate that item, by the way. A Tam O'Shanter, a ton of sanity recovery items, Taffy, Banana Pops. In Shipwrecked, it's a little easier because you have Banana Pops. In ROG, it's a little bit harder. Jerky, Cactus Flesh, cookies, like everything that she loves to eat. Let's just put it that way. Wicker Bottom loves to eat. She needs that. She needs that food. And let's bring it back to Woodlegs now. Woodlegs is kind of like that. Because you suffer from such a huge sanity drain while you're on land, and like you have to be on land because you can't survive in the ocean permanently, right? So he's always going to suffer more sanity drain. And even though his sanity is low, which means that eating like one or two mushrooms will recover all his sanity or break him out of insanity and put him out of the danger zone, he's still going to drain sanity fast, and that is a detriment to the character because basically what it means is if you live, you will have sanity issues, and it's kind of annoying. So if I had like a Tam O'Shanter with a ton of repair kits, which I would have after connecting to ROG and after surviving for a couple hundred days and having like a lot of renewable resources, then Woodlegs will be a little bit better, and he becomes average. But in the early game, he's exceptionally strong with his ship. It means that he can explore faster than most people until the armored boat stage, which is probably like halfway through the season to 3/4 through the season if you do it well. Um, so once you reach that point, Woodlegs is slower, but then you also have to factor in that his boat has a boat cannon, which means you can farm more efficiently. You can kill things more easily, both things on land and things in the ocean, and even structures like coral reef. And the coral reef means that you don't have to build the pickaxe, which saves you resources and time. So this is like a super positive in the early game. And a lot of the characters in Don't Starve have these super positive early games that help you survive in the early game. So Wendy is a good one that helps you survive in the early game. She has scaling issues for the late game because she has a lower damage mod. Who else is really good in the early game? Wigfrid is really strong in the early game in ROG. In Shipwrecked, I'm probably gonna play Wigfrid next. I'm actually curious how it's gonna go because I'm really reliant on seaweed. I'm like highly my playstyle in the early game is highly nomadic, so there's gonna be a lot of issues I think because I can't kill. I mean, I can't just eat seaweed. I have to kill things to survive. So we'll see when that happens. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, Woodlegs is just like super versatile and really good at farming in the early game. And it's pretty sad that I struggled in the early game because I got distracted by Shiny Treasure, because it basically wasted Woodleg's early game advantage. So the early game advantage that he has should give you like a really strong push into Hurricane season. You would settle down on the island, have your resources ready much faster than almost any other character in the game, if not every other character in the game, and then you're good to go. You're already in the mid game essentially in the mid game for one like a 1 year cycle. But unfortunately, that wasn't to be. Oh well. What else do I need to say about him? I guess I should also say that during seasons where you need a turtle, so hurricane season is one of them to some extent because like every couple of days there's a storm, right? And during a storm, you don't want to travel too far, otherwise you get screwed over. Unless you want to bring a chiminea to every island, which is highly inefficient. He has issues because he needs to sustain his sanity. And you can kill shadow creatures if you want to, but it's kind of a waste of time. So you lose more time kiting shadow creatures and whatever. So it's a good idea to have mushrooms nearby. So I picked a pretty good island. I think any other island with mushrooms would have worked as well. Um, but aside from that, you're just gonna have a harder time after the early nomadic style. So once you start settling down, Woodlegs is pretty mediocre. And I guess all of it just averages out. Really strong early game, mediocre mid game, average late game. Averages out to being an average character, I guess, if you want to do it that way. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So if there is anything else that you think I missed, any other questions or comments that you want to ask about Woodlegs or anything related to Don't Starve in general, you can leave it in the comments below. I know I've talked for a really, really long time. It's like a vlog. It's like a Don't Starve vlog, basically. But I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. Regardless of what happened, I hope you learned something. I hope I answered any questions that you may have had, helped you out in any way. And of course, as always, if you enjoyed it, you can like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter for updates, Twitch for live streams whenever I stream, which will also be on Twitter. I'll update my Twitter whenever stuff's gonna happen. And thanks for watching. See you next time.